government of Oyo State in managing this crisis. One thing that stood out for me that I've been thinking about was what happened, and thank goodness Tunde is here. Tunde spoke with David Bello on Sunday when Governor Akeredolu and Governor Makinde went to Shasha to talk with the people. And I said on my program yesterday that once is cool, twice is evil. If you play that thing again on radio, you'll probably be fined. Because the kind of anger in the people, in that space, was really very visible, even listening to them speaking. How are we going to handle these feelings of mutual distrust and animosity among the people living together in this space? And how has government handled this matter so far? Tayo.
Well, issues that border along the line of ethnicity has to be handled with care. And so I want to believe that must have necessitated the way the current governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, attempted what. But then anyone who has listened to other persons, not necessarily persons from the opposition, yes, they might have an axe to grind. The former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, mentioned something which, everyone can actually, one way or the other, identify with. The issue of being spontaneous and being quick to react. You do not necessarily have to have done anything, but going to the venue of such I don't want to use the word massacre because there are a lot of things that have been said. But wherever such a thing happens, for the mere fact that it happened within Ibadan, not outside Ibadan, it will always send a very good message when the number one man shows up. You just show up there and, okay, we are working on it. But then delaying a day, 2 days after, a lot of things would have happened. Now, I'm going to also focus on the activities of security agencies. I remember when the Iganga issue happened, Governor Seyi Makinde went to Abuja, met with the president, and if I forget all his requests, I remember one, which is that he requested for a mobile police unit, an extra one. Nothing happened. But then just immediately after the Shasha crisis happened, we saw some governors from the northern part, including the governor of Niger State, who is now embattled. They came and all that, and within 24 hours, Mr. President approved, and just we had the IG saying that 3 units of this same mobile police detachment will be coming to your state. I don't know if you've seen choppers in the air. So I begin to ask myself, how many deaths will be enough before necessary actions are taken? A friend of mine even called my attention to it and do you now see what will make the necessary guys take the necessary action? That if Shasha had not happened, you would not have choppers in the air. If Shasha had not happened, the mobile police force units that will be coming would not probably have come at all. They might not have made that statement. So, but the animosity between the hosts, and I'm talking the Yorubas, indigenes in Shasha area, and the northerners is something we need to really, really talk about.
Right.
Yes. The State House of Assembly agreed, in fact, it was a motion that was moved, that they should move that market from that location to somewhere maybe far away from Ibadan or whatever. Some have suggested that I think you can go to that new cattle market built by the Ajimobi administration. Look for somewhere around that side and move them away from there. Do you know that I discovered that some intellectuals in the University of Ibadan who carried out certain research have also suggested this too some years back. So I think it will be in order. While a lot of people want to just, maybe throw blames around and blame people, me, I'm like, what can we do to forestall such from happening again?
I spoke with someone who grew up in Shasha yesterday, and he said that it's not the first time we're having such a crisis, and that there is some kind of, problem with the leadership of the market itself that gives, room for this kind of animosity brewing, in the midst of these people. So then again, I was talking about optics. Look, I'm not against anyone, but the optics of the palace of the Seriki in Shasha and the half palace, I don't know what to call it, when I saw the picture.
Or the residence.
Or the house of the Vale of Shasha shows, a whole lot of things that sociologists will help, to give a sense to.
Can tell who is privileged and who is not.
So Tunde, when you look, I was discussing with Tunde in his office yesterday, and I said, look, see this picture. Look at the picture of the Valley of Shasha. Look at the picture of the palace of the Seriki. Beaded crowns were inscribed on his throne. That's what I call that chair. How do you, that optics, what does it say?
Firstly, if I add my way, I think we should abolish all this, Seriki, this, Oba, that, Eze, this, as settlers in different places. They add no value as far as I'm concerned. In fact, they do just one thing, which is to stall integration. What do I mean? If I live in a place, if I relocate now, say maybe to the United Kingdom or to Canada, aside from maybe the embassy there, that should serve as a go-to place if I have a problem, I shouldn't be looking for Oba of Oyo or Oba of Nigeria in Canada.
Yeah, even though they are always the Egbe Omo.
Yes, and that's okay.
What I'm going to do is that I will live my life the way the society there, want anybody living in their country to be. But you see, when you have a situation where there's, we abolished monarchy a long time ago. They are just ceremonial, monarchs. They don't control anything. They don't have any real power in the real sense of it if you look at our constitution. So we are even debating whether the real Obas, the real kings, the real emirs, whether we really still need them. I think first and foremost, somebody needs to convince me the role they play. Because what then happens is that you live in a place, and I'm talking about across board. This is not just about one region. All these about these Seriki, these we should abolish it. If you are a Yoruba person living in Kano, the point is that Nigeria is supposed to be one country governed by law. You should live as a Nigerian. Because, you see, these are some of the issues that you may not be able to explicitly discuss on radio, but they happen. If somebody, commits a crime now, for example, and then he runs into Sabo, can the police, as we have it now, confidently go into that place to get him arrested without making a recourse to the Seriki in that place? You see, where there is no justice, peace is always going to elude you. Justice is number one. And it is the lack of it that actually triggered all these things we're seeing. You can't have this law for this and another one for that within the same space. I mentioned something about privilege earlier. Privilege is good, but then again, it comes with certain consequences. So that is one area that the government should look at.
So that we can improve integration.
Yes. Number two is the role of local government. You see, it took a major crisis for the governor of the state and 4 other governors from the northern parts of the country. And we did not even hear anything about the local government chairman. This ordinarily should have been a matter for the local government chairman if we had a functional local government system in place. It's a market problem.
I mean,
It shouldn't have escalated up until this
they are
point.
responsible for the market.
Yes.
And in this negotiation, the local government was not found.
At all. So you've crippled the local government system, and this is what you have.
No, that takes me to that judgment we saw yesterday about park management system. I know Michael was vehement in his discussion about it. But come, Michael, come into this one. The optics, quickly.
Well, Tunde has said basically, and Dayo, of course, why should there be, a sign of or a mark of privilege, conferred on someone who doesn't have a place in the laws of the land? That's a big question. In Oyo State here, we have a chieftaincy law. Does that chieftaincy law recognize the Seriki Shasha? Does it recognize the Seriki Sabu? Does it?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So why
I don't think they draw salaries from the local government.
No.
So why do you have such privilege in the first instance? So
And the man hosted 5 governors.
So you begin to ask a very fundamental question, which has to do with how the state should play in this game. I am bothered by the fact that the governor did not invite these actors to the government house
My thought too.
to address them,
My thought
rather
too.
than go visit them. You see, and it's just
Because he visited on Sunday. It was
Yes.
okay, he visited on Sunday
Yes.
and with Akinola. But going with all of those governors again on Monday,
so.
I think on
I
Sunday
think those guys wanted-
He couldn't visit the Seriki Shasha on
Yeah,
Sunday.
he was not at his place. True.
They did not. The Yoruba community did not allow for that.
You can trust the northern governors; they will want to go there.
Yes.
So a fundamental question is this, and we've been talking about negotiating from the point of weakness. That is negotiating from the point of weakness. If the governor has said, "Oh, I don't want any trouble, all of you," I
Maybe
want
in
to
his
meet
defense,
you.
he will say
You
that
see?
he went there to assess
Oh, wow.
the damage.
People had actually been castigating him for not going there.
You see, I understand all these things. I understand all these
I would
things.
So
support
in
that.
all
I would
fairness-
support him not going there.
I don't have any problem with him going there. But
Yeah.
the problem
Oh, you
I
have a
have
problem
is
with him going to the palace?
the problem
I mean,
I have
yeah,
with
all
him
of them
is
going to the palace.
you are going to visit someone who is a party in the crisis.
He visited the Bali.
He visited the valley.
said
Oh,
the
wow.
valley, yeah.
When
Yes.
victim. Okay.
He visited the Bali.
but-
It's to assuage them.
Oh, good. Now, in assuaging, let me read this story in the Nigerian Tribune. The Bale Shasha Amusa Akinade Ajani said, the visiting governor should assist the host governor. Assist. We do not discriminate against any tribe. We believe we are of the same family. We want peaceful coexistence of all tribes here. We want a return to how we have been coexisting in Shasha. It's unbelievable to hear that some people are moving to settle in another place within the same Akinola local government. We can't approve of them selling in another place and then coming here to sleep at night. The says government should arrest and deal with anyone causing crisis. So my own question is this. Tunde has said it. You see, that conversation you had with someone who grew up there, I also had conversation with him. We are just doing optics and pretending that we are settling matters. This is not the first time that there have been crises in Shasha. How did we deal with the crisis in the first instance? Is it about